Oh, I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up, I can't even talk.
Is that the only health?
45 years, you remember him as the killer, the menace, and you get to see the pads, and you see, just how amazing he is. And we're very proud of him, but, he is a 58-year-old man that has been in the gym and coming to the gym every single day, and some of us who are up at that age can't even get up and do 20 minutes of exercise every day, but this man can.
Netflix aren't done yet with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, as they just released the final set of episodes of the Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul series, which shows Tyson's post-fight trip to the hospital. The first episode includes the very top moments that followed the fight, like the post-fight interview that happened in the ring, where Iron Mike Tyson famously showed interest in fighting Jake Paul next.
You've got more in you. Comes to mind?
Well, I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan, I think he said you might be next.
I'll kill you, Mike.
No, please, no.
Afterwards, the Netflix episode showed viewers the post-fight interview that featured Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's trainers, as Mike Tyson himself had to run some tests and visit the hospital immediately as part of the precautions instructed by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations. The regulating body had ordered that Iron Mike Tyson ran some tests at different periods before the fight to ensure his health was in its perfect state, which he did, with the final set of the pre-fight tests happening a few hours before the fight on the fight night. And once Iron Mike Tyson walked out of the ring following the fight, he was ordered to run some tests immediately, as the trainers in his corner had observed him going through very severe pains around his back. The pains, however, became worse when Mike Tyson took some more punches to his head. In the 7th and 8th rounds of the fight, viewers could see the former undisputed world heavyweight champion wobbling and acting dizzy.
Brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Links to the conqueror, no, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless.
His punches could hardly connect, and he was just throwing empty hands into the air. And like Jake Paul said after the fight, Mike Tyson was only able to avoid a knockout because Jake Paul became more lenient after noticing the former world champion was only trying to survive. His cornermen were able to do their best to ensure he was sustained and his pain was managed till the fight was over. And immediately after the fight, he made his way directly from the ring to the dressing room and to the hospital, as the boxing legend didn't show up in the post-fight press conference and was represented by Rafael Cordero and his other trainer. The Netflix video showed him in the dressing room after the fight, leaving for the hospital. The fighter was recognized at the hospital, and he was highly honored on his arrival. Mike Tyson had to run some scans, get some urgent medical help, and was told to stay in the hospital till all tests were completed and they were assured of his well-being. All of these were the instructions Mike Tyson agreed to before the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations sanctioned the fight. Hence, Netflix covered the whole post-fight moments because they were a part of the whole fight. According to the video, Iron Mike Tyson spent the whole of the day after the fight at the hospital, and despite that he was to be released the next day, he was called to the hospital for bed rest for the next few days in order to ensure no emergency happened outside the hospital, at least for now. Another sad revelation that came with the video was the fact that Iron Mike Tyson still had severe sciatica that made him stay in a wheelchair for a while. Each news about Tyson's health makes the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations look more irresponsible for sanctioning the fight and Jake Paul for going ahead with the fight. Mike Tyson said he almost died preparing to fight Jake Paul, shedding light on the frightening health scare he endured in the lead-up. Paul defeated Tyson via unanimous decision on Saturday in Dallas, but it was a sad scene as the 31-year age gap between the pair became obvious as the fight went on. Tyson released a statement on Sunday after the fight, explaining the health issues he overcame to fulfill his goal of getting in the ring, something his kids didn't get to see him do at the peak of his powers. The 58-year-old went through 8 two-minute rounds against Paul on Friday night in Texas, the younger man winning comfortably on points in a fight marred by controversy before and during the encounter, and now afterwards too. There were already concerns over whether an older man should be subjected to the rigors of a professional bout, while during the fight, Paul was seen pulling his punches somewhat, which he later acknowledged was because he didn't want to hurt Tyson. But now, Tyson's latest revelation may cause even more controversy, as he explained he lost half his body's blood while ill, and despite that, he says he had no regrets, and was happy about getting a final shot at his sport. "This is one of those situations when you lost but still won," the 58-year-old said. "I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood and 25 pounds, which is equal to 11 kilograms, in hospital, and had to fight to get healthy to fight, so I won."
It got pretty personal and heated.
That happens when you're in a fight. You're in the moment.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
Mike, final thing for you, to all the 50-year-olds out there,
To have my children see me stand toe-to-toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboy Stadium is an experience that no man has the right to ask for. Thank you, Jake Paul replied to the post. "Love you, Mike. It was an honor. You're an inspiration to us all." The revelation that Tyson had 8 blood transfusions is shocking, and some pundits were unimpressed the fight was allowed to go ahead. Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix wrote on X, "Great job by the Texas Athletic Commission fully investigating Mike Tyson's health issues and sanctioning a fight with a 58-year-old that says he needed 8 blood transfusions. Incredible. Does anyone care about fighter safety?" Tyson and Paul were originally supposed to fight on July 20th, but the bout was postponed in early June after reports Tyson had been dealing with a stomach ulcer flare up. The former heavyweight champion needed medical treatment on board a flight after complaining of nausea and dizziness. Tyson hadn't fought in 19 years, but footage of Iron Mike hitting the pads hard in workouts had boxing fans dreaming of a knockout win over Paul. It wasn't to be. Paul, 27, even claimed he could have tried to knock Tyson out in the latter rounds of the fight, but opted not to inflict further damage on his opponent. Tyson had strapping on his leg during the fight and fatigued as the 8-round bout went on. Paul said he would be happy to fight again soon against any opponent, even calling out Mexican boxing megastar Saul Canelo Alvarez.
On the victory, are you surprised that went the distance?
First and foremost, Mike Tyson, it's such an honor. Let's give it up for Mike, bro.
Tyson also seemed to suggest he wasn't done with boxing, calling out Paul's older brother Logan in the ring post-fight. The victory over Tyson takes Paul's professional boxing record to 12-1, but there were immediate calls for him to fight a boxer his own age, who isn't washed up. His only loss has been to Tommy Fury last year. AFL veteran Scott Pendlebury labeled Paul a con job on social media and said he would happily beat him in 2 rounds. Another boxing great, undefeated American and Hall of Famer Andre Ward, was asked during Netflix's coverage of the Tyson-Paul fight what Jake should do next to further his career.
That you can beat him, and I don't think we'll get that fight either.
Do you think Canelo will ever get in the ring with Jake Paul, Andre?
Man. One or two more.
What's up, Julie?
I think if the money's right.
That what?
If the money's right.
"I don't think Canelo wants to do that right now," he said. "He could change his mind if the number's right. I really think what Jake is after is legitimacy. He's got the money, he's got the followers. I think it's time for Jake to call somebody out a lot younger than Mike Tyson, a bit more dangerous. And somebody the boxing public can say, oh, we respect you, even if you lose, you took that challenge." Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali, took it further when he posted to X after the fight. "Jake Paul is an embarrassment to this sport," he wrote. "If my grandfather was still around, Paul would call him out. Absolutely no shame, love you, Mike." Broadcaster Stephen A. Smith said, No more b-ball players, strikers from MMA, or old men. It's time for Jake to get into a real fight. He's good enough. Make it happen. Netflix says more than 60 million households tuned in around the world to watch the main event fight between Paul and Tyson. However, it's still believed that Mike Tyson sold the controversial Jake-Paul fight using his years of dedication to the sport and his explosive run in the 1980s.
He probably got a number in his head. Said he wasn't going to take the fight, he wasn't interested, but you put enough money into it, he probably take it.
Bradley, speaking on his YouTube channel, is adamant the social media influencer is milking the sport by fighting recognizable boxers, but not ones that are in a position to beat him. I told you all, he's 58 years old. All that wear and tear on his body. He's a senior citizen, basically. He didn't do anything to Jake Paul. He probably landed 1 or 2 punches all night, if any. It's terrible, man, he concluded. Carl Froch is another who is vehemently against Paul's antics in securing the most prominent platforms available to sell a substandard product. It's not the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last.
Should be happening just because, out of respect for somebody like Mike Tyson, who's an icon of the boxing world. If you ask people on the street who don't really follow boxing and don't watch boxing, you say, name me 3 fighters, they're always going to say Muhammad Ali.
The Cobra said, it looked like Mike Tyson turned up just to play his role in this little circus. Jake Paul was either too scared to engage or didn't want to hurt him. I don't like how he's trying to say he didn't really try, because I think he did try at moments in there. And I don't think he had the bottle to stand in front of Tyson and try and do anything to get him out of there. Paul is a great salesman. There's no denying that. However, the action inside the ring never matches the hype. Boxing personnel who work day in and day out in the sport worry that the next generation of fans will get accustomed to mediocre entertainment when they could be enjoying a host of top fights if they followed authentic entertainers.
Probably say, it's not a mega fight, it's not a stadium fight, is it? But the mindset that Anthony Joshua's got, coming off a couple of losses with Usyk, and then obviously what happened with Ruiz, I think he's still rebuilding mentally. I mean, physically he's got what he's got. He's good.
Months after he was spotted at Miami International Airport sitting in a wheelchair and holding a walking stick, Mike Tyson, the former world heavyweight champion, revealed that he is suffering from sciatica, a nerve-impacting condition causing pain in the lower back and leg. Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion, who was spotted cheering for Serena Williams in the US Open some time ago, has talked about his condition in recent times and shared how the nerve condition makes him unable to talk sometimes. I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up. When it flares up, I can't even talk. Thank God, it's the only health problem I have. I am splendid now. Everybody in my house is truly blessed, and we are all very grateful for whatever we have, Tyson told Newsmax TV earlier this month. It was Tyson sitting in a wheelchair and with a walking stick in his lap at the Miami International Airport last month, which resulted in concerns about the former heavyweight boxer's health.
Pressure, if any at all, do you feel to win this fight, even though you're twice his age and you haven't been in the ring in an official...
While Tyson did attend the US Open matches, the former boxer also attended a promotional event for his line of cannabis brand Tyson 2.0 in New Jersey, where he promoted the legally allowed bitten ear-shaped edibles, taking inspiration from the much-talked and controversial incident of him biting the ear of Evander Holyfield during the World Boxing rematch in 1997. The former heavyweight spoke about his old friend and former athlete Arturo Gatti, who got addicted to drugs due to an injury and later committed suicide at the age of 37 in 2009. Tyson has been advocating the use of cannabis, which are legally allowed for use in the U.S. state of California. Cannabis and other plant medicines have helped me get to this point where I am who I want to be. It all comes down to your mind and your head. Your mind and head can be the worst neighborhood in the history of the world. I feel like I am overrated. No one deserves this much love. Life is about properly using your ego. It's important to have a good relationship with your ego. It can drive you to do great things if used correctly, Tyson told the New York Post last week.
Sanctioned bout since 2005. How are you feeling pressure-wise about needing to beat him?
Well, I feel in great condition.
Back then, the 57-year-old also discussed his perception of money and other things in a podcast with rapper Fat Joe and radio host Angie Martinez on his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. In the 1 hour and 21-minute long video, the former heavyweight boxer is seen wiping sweat from his face with a towel multiple times. Dressed in a shirt and shorts, Tyson would also advertise a trimming product during the show. Money is a false sense of security. The more money you get, the less you think you can die. You don't think somebody can kill you. You don't think you can die from a driving accident. It makes you feel that you are good if you have a lot of money. I would tell you, if you think that a lot of money will make you happy, you will never have a lot of money, he would tell his guest, Fat Joe, on being asked about the value of money in his life.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I box these rounds, and I don't know, I'm ready. I don't look at it as I'm some old guy that's decrepit gonna fight this young guy. I'm fighting a guy with 10 fights.
While the talk covered drugs and overdose as Fat Joe talked about his brother becoming blind due to drug overdose, Tyson, who also grew up in the Bronx in New York and has known Fat Joe since long, shared his views on drug use being a choice. I don't believe that. I am not a believer of that. I believe anybody, they manifest their destiny. I don't believe they are weak or anything. I believe that they are pretty selfish. They want to stay in that perpetual mood of slavery. It's perpetual. They get their first hit in a couple of weeks and they can't get out. Coming out of it too takes a strong person to do. That's all to do with my ego. I might be Iron Mike. I would look at myself in the mirror saying, I am beautiful and working out. I wanted to have my life away from drugs. I didn't do it alone. My family helped me and the ride was very bumpy, Tyson said in the podcast. The former heavyweight champion was seen lighting a cigarette during the show, but then put the cigarette down as he answered one of the questions on what the guests learned from him.
You know, he's sensational and he's hot, but fighting a guy with 10 fights, and I just think I can handle this situation.
You gonna knock him out?
I think I'm gonna.
You know, what you learn from me, if anything, you learn from adversity. Adversity makes the weak weak and the strong strong. I never in my head was bloody, but it was never bowed. I kept fighting. I am never gonna give up. That's just not who I am. That's just not. As the conversation veered towards boxing and Tyson's early days, the former heavyweight champion did remember boxing legend Muhammad Ali.
Scared to death. I seen a YouTube of him at 16 doing weird dances. That's not the guy I'm going to be fighting. This guy's going to come, he's going to try to hurt me, which I'm accustomed to, and he's going to be greatly mistaken.
There's been a lot of rumors out there about the fight. You're going to be wearing headgear. Any truth to any of that?
No, not true at all. Not true.
What is bringing you back? Is it kind of like the last Rock?
Tyson talked about how boxers fight dementia and other physical and mental problems, most of which arising in the later life of boxers. He aged early, you know. I remember seeing him shake, just not like anybody but a little shake. He just aged early in life. There are some boxers that die, they get hit like that, and then there are guys you can beat them all night and then they retire. They will have no dementia, no nothing, and live a very healthy life. You know, their hands might hurt, their ribs might hurt. They look so good you would never think he was a fighter. Ali was articulate. It was just the luck of the draw, Tyson would say.
And the thing Mike Tyson will be in this building, we want to showcase one of our homegrown talents.
Tyson, who became the youngest heavyweight champion in 1987 at the age of 20, had 50 wins during his career with 44 wins coming by knockout. The former champion, who owns a 420-acre weed resort in Southern California, last fought in an exhibition fight with Roy Jones Jr. last year. During last month's podcast after he was spotted at Miami Airport, Tyson had said, "We're all gonna die one day, of course. Then when I look in the mirror and I see those little spots on my face and I say, wow, my expiration date is coming close. Really soon."
You ready for tonight?
I'm ready, yes.
How do you feel about the disrespect he's been constantly throwing your way? And is it fueling you to get you more violent result?
I don't pay any attention to it. We're fighting now. Nothing matters anymore.
What's your prediction?
Vicious win.
Vicious win. Thank you, Dad.
Love you.
Love you too.
During last week's podcast, Tyson sounded philosophical midway in the podcast. Being killed physically is getting killed psychologically. You die one time, you die 1 billion times if you smoke, if you are not a good person, Tyson said. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.